Bill Villa is my guest right now. Bill lost his daughter to a drunk driver, killed by a drunk driver, and then that was a nightmare enough, but then was about to find out how much he was going to have to fight for justice for his daughter. And ever since then, it's become his passion. He's sort of like John Walsh lost his son Adam, and it became John Walsh's passion. On that note, it's become Bill's on this note, and in particular in Lehigh County. And he feels that in Lehigh County, drunk drivers, would you say, get a pass? I don't want to put words in your mouth.
I wouldn't go that far, but I think I don't think it's taken nearly as seriously as it should be. I think there's some crookedness and incompetence in the prosecutions.
Crookedness?
Yeah.
Could it just be incompetence?
Well, the guy who killed my daughter could and should have been charged with third-degree murder. He wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was crooked.
Well, you thought it was crooked because you have said there's dots to connect.
Right.
Which we have connected in the past.
Mm-hmm.
So now you said, Gunther, there's
I thought that was favoritism.
Mm-hmm. So now you are upset about. You said, "Hey, this continues," and you sent me at the time you wanted to get on. You sent me a whole list of DUI cases that you felt are just an example and not an aberration, but the
right.
norm in Lehigh County.
Yeah, instances where it has taken District Attorney Jim Martin a year to file charges after someone kills someone driving drunk. And specifically, if you want to know that case, that would be the case of Gregory Williams, who killed Sean Boonsley driving drunk on Route 22. Took Martin a year to file charges against Greg Williams, and then another year to get a pretty standard plea deal. Now, that whole time, Greg Williams was on bail out there driving.
But he ended up pleading?
Yeah, and he went to jail eventually.
Uh-huh.
But a year to file charges,
mm-hmm.
another year to get a plea deal. It seems like it's not much of a priority in Lehigh County. And I've spoken with District Attorney Morganelli from Northampton County. He, routinely gets DUI killers charged within 5 business days.
All right, so now you wanted to come in and talk about another case that's about, I don't know if it's still going to unfold or if the timing on it's changed.
It's currently going through the system, yeah. It's this guy, James W. Lauer.
And you feel this is the same case of leniency or whatever you want to call it?
It's certainly noteworthy, and our local media is not giving us the whole story. And, I'm not out to vilify James W. Lauer. He obviously has a illness problem with alcohol, and I'd like to see him get the treatment he needs. But in the meantime, the Commonwealth needs to be protected, and I don't think Lehigh County is doing a very good job of that. Just as background, his 4th DUI took place on January 19th.
Of what year?
This year.
This year?
Yeah, just recently.
Okay.
And it took place very close to the crosswalk at Muhlenberg Elementary School. Mr. Lauer was 4 times the legal limit.
Oh, was this in the daytime?
It was around 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
On a school day?
On a Sunday, thankfully.
Okay,
thankfully.
On a Sunday, 1 o'clock.
Mr. Lauer ran a stop sign at Albright and Tillman, T-boned a van, flipped it over several times. There were 2 children under the age of 7 who were ejected onto the street. There was a woman 31 weeks pregnant,
oh, yeah, I remember
who was trapped inside the car with the male driver.
Yes.
And Mr. Lauer kept going. He never stopped. There were witnesses. They found him in his garage somewhere on Livingston Street. And he was arrested.
How long did it take to arrest him? Oh, arrested is not charged. How long did it take to bring charges?
They grabbed him right away, and the reason being, it was his 4th DUI. They were very familiar with this guy.
Mm-hmm.
As far as I know, he is still incarcerated. They did grant him bail, but they set it at $25,000.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as I know, he hasn't made that. I'm almost certain he's still incarcerated, but I'm not positive.
So I don't see a problem. What's the problem? Everything seems like this is being handled right.
Well, how about this? His first DUI was in '03.
Okay.
I mean, his first that they caught him.
All right.
Okay. Went through the ARD program for first offenders, lost his license for 4 months, had some fines. That was it.
Okay.
3 years later in '06, he got a second DUI. This time he did 90 days in Lehigh County Prison. Okay. You'd think they'd have his number kind of by now.
Okay, so first one was
'03.
'03, and he got what for that one?
License suspension, 4 months, ARD program.
Okay. And then the second one was 90 days.
The second one was 90 days, but what the local media didn't tell anyone is that it was 90 days immediate work release.
Oh.
So basically evening and weekend jail.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Okay.
Also, by the way, none of James W. Lauer's first 3 DUIs made the local media.
Okay. Well, maybe okay.
His splashy fourth one was kind of hard to miss.
Okay. So then the third one was when?
The third one was in 2010.
Okay.
Okay. And he was also caught not only DUI and way past, double the legal limit, but he wasn't using the interlock on the car, a device you have to blow into.
Okay.
I don't know if he had disabled it or if he was using another car,
Okay.
but it was a first offense not using the interlock in addition to DUI.
Okay.
Now, for that one, he was sentenced to a year in county.
Okay. And did he serve it?
He did. I believe he served the whole thing, but get this. While he's in Lehigh County Prison doing time for his third DUI,
Right.
they granted him an afternoon furlough one day to
Right.
go to a wedding.
Right. You don't think they should have done that?
Would they do that for you or me? Who is this guy? Who does he know? I mean, you're in prison for your third DUI. They let you out to go to a wedding?
Well, I don't mean to laugh. It just the way you put it makes it laughable.
I think it is laughable, and I think it's really dangerous. I've been in contact with Judge Dantos on this. She has been gracious enough to communicate with me on this case because I've had a lot of questions about it that District Attorney Martin won't answer. Over the last 5 years, I've probably sent Jim Martin dozens of polite emails with some questions in.
He might beg to differ that they were polite.
Well, okay, maybe. But I also CC most of the editors and reporters in the local media, figuring that, okay, if Jim has a bug up his rear about me and doesn't want to answer me, maybe my question has merit that one of the reporters might want to pose it. They never do.
Right. So now he's up for his fourth DUI, and why you wanted to get in and say that we got to talk about this. So it does seem it's crazy 4 DUIs, but I mean, how's that Jim Martin's problem?
Well, I just think, guys like James W. Lauer, who are really known to the system, I mean, this is a DUI homicide waiting to happen. What the heck would have happened when he's out on an afternoon furlough while doing time for his third DUI had he killed someone driving drunk?
Okay,
the Morning Call and 69 News would have had to work really hard to keep that from the public. That would have been a tough one. And there's a history. District Attorney Martin has failed to oppose the release of other prisoners. I'm thinking of Michael Eric Ballard, who was up for, he had murdered someone in '91, was up for parole. Martin never responded to the parole board's inquiry, should this guy be granted parole. And he's admitted that publicly, and that was covered in the local media. But, Ballard...
Okay, so let me back up and make a point.
Ballard killed 4 people while he was out. He killed Denise Mary, Dennis and Alvin Marsh, her father and grandfather, and courageous neighbor Stephen Zernhelt.
This is the guy up in Walnut Port.
Yeah,
wait.
The parallel here is another case of the district attorney, Lehigh County, Jim Martin, being asleep at the wheel.
Oh wait, so hold on. So the Ballard was in prison and then he got out. Is it what you're saying? Because he failed.
Well, he was up for parole, but they had contacted the Lehigh County District Attorney's office
still in
for their input. Well, he's in again after killing 4 people.
But he'd been in there for the first time for what?
He slit a guy's throat in 1991.
And so wow. This is, and here's the thing with this, again, Lauer, you want to see somebody get help. He obviously needs help. But think about this guy that in Florida at the daycare center that rammed the other guy yesterday. Now, that guy had 8 priors, couple of felonies within the last 13, since 2000, at least 8 charges against him. And the last charge was already a hit and run. And he just killed people. Well, and now, how many? And so now I was saying, how could you let a guy like this keep getting out? And now look what's happened. A child is dead and 14 are injured. And now you're saying the same thing could happen.
Yeah, and I can't do anything about Florida, but I am concerned about Lehigh County.
Right, but it's this parallel, though, because everybody's saying it's an exact parallel because you're saying, for God's sakes, how does a guy like this keep getting out?
But here's the thing. I think what would be appropriate for Mr. Lauer, and again, I don't have, I'm not out to vilify him. I want to see the Commonwealth protected. His arraignment is on May 19th. At some point, they're going to cut a deal. I'm going to ask if I could have 2 minutes or so to address the court at sentencing. I've yet to see a drunk driver in Lehigh County get a maximum sentence, okay? I think if anybody deserves a maximum sentence, it's Mr. Lauer. 4 DUIs, 2 interlock violations, flipping a van, ejecting 2 kids out onto the street.
And there's a pregnant woman in the van.
He's already done a year in county, okay? Now, the way the sentencing is structured here, the most he could get would be 2.5 years in state. I'd like to see him get that. I'd like to see them send him to the State Correctional Institute at Chester that has a dedicated drug and alcohol facility.
Right.
I think if he has 2 to 5 in there, maybe he'll get the help he needs and our streets will be safer.
Right. All right. And May 19th, we're in Lehigh County. I know it would be great. Folks, if everybody laments, oh, my God, it's so horrible that this happened again. Maybe just like we need to start showing up for borough and county meetings.
You do. You have to pressure these people. It worked very well in my daughter Sheena's case. I mean, we bombarded Jim Martin's office with 600 letters. Same with Judge Steinberg. Judge Steinberg held up the wad of letters at sentencing. If the voters rise up and get together, it gets their attention.
Yeah, start speaking out on this stuff, not just about all the taxes, but go to this trial or whatever hearing on May 19th.
Imagine if Mr. Lauer blew through that crosswalk near Muhlenberg at 3 o'clock on a Monday.
Yep. Bill, time flies fast when you're in. I'll talk to you
Always
again.
a pleasure. Thanks, Bobby.
Real soon.